These scenic landscapes are of Tebisa, a cluster of some 20 villages in Punakha, a westerly district of Bhutan. It is the home of my ancestors who sweat and toiled in these fields, farming off the land.
My father spent his childhood here, but left the village in pursuit of a military career. So this is a land that I barely know, having no more than childhood memories of visiting my grandparents here in this house that you see behind me. Today I find myself here trying to reconnect with my roots and to tell a special story of how my village has become an example for other Bhutanese villages to follow. But first, a little background.
Located in a pocket of the eastern Himalayas, the small, secluded kingdom of Bhutan is celebrated worldwide for its scenic beauty, the enviable state of its pristine environment, and its bountiful natural resources. Between 70 to 80% of its largely agrarian population live in villages engaged in agricultural livelihoods. Yet, this is a figure that is in flux, as, like most developing countries, Bhutan has been seeing an unyielding trend of people, especially youth, migrating from their traditional village homes for the modern, greener pastures of urban centers. Mostly elderly people are left behind in the villages. Some houses and fields have been abandoned altogether, as elders find themselves unable to work in the fields and so join the migrating droves. Urban centers, in turn, feel the pressure of overcrowding, manifest in slum dwellings and infrastructure crunch. How then can Bhutan convince its youth to stay home? The answer, it appears, may lie in the story that I have to tell here in Tebisa. It revolves around a project called My Gakidh Village, a joint effort of CSO, Aide at Action, and the Bhutan Youth Development Fund. This is a story of how this one project has sought to reverse the rural-urban drift by enhancing rural livelihood skills and utilizing local resources to improve living standards and thus bind a community together.
Here I am on this wind-swept but warm hillock where we find this grand temple behind me. This is the Chimi, a temple that is dedicated to the great Lama Dupa Kille. It is renowned throughout the kingdom as a symbol of fertility. Many couples who are unable to bear children often come here visiting this temple to seek the blessings not only of the temple but of the great Lama Dupa Kille himself, because he was rather well known for his extraordinary ability to subdue demonesses, sometimes using his sexual prowess. Now this is the starting point of my journey. It is from here that I will try and discover My Gakidh Village. In a novel approach to developing livelihoods and rural economy, the My Gakidh Village project has drawn upon the cultural and ecological wealth of Tebisa, one of them being this very trail. Now celebrated as the Trail of the Divine Madman, this 21-kilometer stretch has been developed as an ecotourism trail. It is expected that tourists will flock here to amble through this path that takes one through pristine oak forests, fertile terraces, and views such as this.
So under My Gakidh Village, from the 21 villages, this is one of the beautiful villages under this heritage trail. And with rapid urbanization, one of the main challenges in fact is the rural-urban migration, especially impacting on the youth looking for greener pastures in the urban areas. But when you actually really look at it, the greener pastures are right here in these very areas. So through the development of community-based ecotourism. We hope to keep these youth within these beautiful villages by building up their livelihood skills and creating incentives through tourism development.
The My Gakidh Village project studied and found out that as many as 620 youth are originally from Tebisa. Most of these youth are in school or are yet to find employment. It struck the architects of the project that one way to keep Tebisa's youth home was to get them gainfully occupied in traditional arts and crafts such as sculpting, textile weaving, bamboo weaving, painting, wood carving, carpentry and tailoring. It was reasoned that this was also a viable means of reviving and preserving traditional culture.
Other than 3 activities, we have got another 2 activities, that is media lab and consumer shop. The main reason for coming up with consumer shop is because in that locality we don't have any consumer shop. Our poor people, our poor farmer, our poor youth, they usually work 2 to 3 hours to buy their basic needs from Thimphu or either from Tshering. So in that case, we think that consumer shop is one of the important element in our project. So because of this consumer shop, so many youth from our village have got benefited, because firstly one youth itself got employed in our consumer shop, and on other hand the income from that consumer shop is distributed among the youth. And in case of media lab, there are almost 21 youth out of school youth and 11 monks who are undergoing the training. One youth had already got employed because of that media lab training, basic literacy. Myself being a project coordinator based in this village, I can exactly know that people are totally changed from what they are before. I can proudly say this is because of My Gakidh Village project.
The pastoral beauty of these landscapes is breathtaking. But there's so much more to this place than just that. It's not just even the quaint houses. The smell of earth, grass, wood, cattle, all of it makes you feel somewhat connected to the place, rooted. Yes, rooted. And that's one of the main points behind this project. The My Gakidh Village project aims to keep local artisans rooted to their homes. So they are trying to train them. In fact, they're trying to revive traditional crafts. And I am here now in Chamzana to meet some local artisans. Let me see what they're getting up to. You'll never guess what this is. This is in fact tea, and it's harvested directly from the forest. It hasn't been artificially planted, it just grows there. I met Kiliaom, a 16-year-old girl who is one of 9 other youth who harvest this tea and sell it commercially here in Tebisa.
Nga lagri jiba sinsena tanghagang taila tetilen famgi charo bego bese ikhathinduila tele ikhathindiwe ikhaila bedila khate majala junidi tetelena sar Action the YDF givena and legal chi ana labe se labe telena chashila tetelena zivenga ji chazoni na zuila chazoge se labe chazoila chazoni guzuvenga ji do sumdeji juila ngaji charo chusamela te hema bewajin ngaji anzumgi legal zungse monola te anzum jitsuve namsemeni pembadula te anzuve ngaji takshalna junigi kokabe thopchila.
The tea collecting scheme seems to have been quite a success. 15 kilometers away from Pegana, here I am in Gyumka, where the news of the success of the tea collecting scheme has spread, and there are youth over here who are genuinely interested in taking this up. Infrastructure has already been set up, so they have a shed They know where they're going to collect their tea from, and they're just waiting to start. Met a group of gentlemen over here, young youth, who are genuinely interested in taking up this tea collecting scheme themselves. So I spoke to Pema Tule, who lives in Gyeongka. He is 29 years old. He's been living here all his life, and he seems genuinely excited about this new scheme.
We got this idea from the Bhutan. They have already started there, and it has been around 1 month. And so we talked to Chokpa, if Chokpa can bring that opportunity to our village, so in the future bring the opportunity to our younger generations, so that they can stay in the village.
Arriving at a monastery in Tshering, I am pleasantly surprised to find the monks here hunched over PCs, not books of prayer. This is an unlikely information hub where local community members and the monks learn about the usefulness of computer applications and the World Wide Web. Clearly, with such multiple groundbreaking initiatives, all supported by different stakeholders and the community, the way forward appears promising for the My Gakidh Village project. It also enjoys the benefit of royal patronage. As the president of the Bhutan Youth Development Fund, which is one of the implementing agencies, Her Majesty the Queen Mother Tshering Wangchuk gives personal attention to the project, making field visits whenever she can.
This is a training center.
With the support from Her Majesty, the Queen Mother Tshering Wangchuk, and Her Royal Highness Chimi Yangzom Wangchuk, we have been able to take this My Gakidh Village project far from the time we started in 2013. We have achieved quite a lot, and this is because of the 100% support towards the youth. And we are also, as YDF, we are also known as the champions of the youth. Her Majesty is the champion for the youth of Bhutan.
Aide at Action too is no less serious about ensuring the success of the My Gakidh Village project.
It was in 2013 when Aided Action was looking how we can work on the issues which are related for Bhutan to work in, and that's where we find that ecotourism is one of the areas which need to be explored. And with YDF this program was designed, and it is now known as My Gakidh Village. My Gakidh Village started with a baseline where we identified Punakha as one of the areas to explore. The team of YDF has put a lot of efforts. The project team put their day and nights. They have based themselves in the villages. This ecotourism is with the walk, which is done by Her Majesty herself to tell people about the unexplored beauty and the tourist destinations of Bhutan, which is is a unique initiative of My Gakidh Village.
Meanwhile, back in Dibisa, the general mood of the people is positive and forward-looking.
National Compi Manilgi and the Namachinalo and National Compi Legacy and the Tajitu and Zina Medigi. Tangajina Tibia on the Lunamisami Pento Chisasunilla. That the Academy should not be watching Hangaja Picotahanu, and Nalu, Nachigi, Duvigi, and Ralugi, and Teta Nimchazonichida, Tetele, Saigi, Zamzoni, and Tetangachiri Tamachigi, and Miselu, and the Wombob, and Zosusunilla, and Tetelen, and Tetlet Nibasoda, Tangachanagi, and Teta Najunsulu, and the Yogi Kokopje. The animal top the baby, or let the Namas Pentochi say, and the Anishunilla. 나세 에탄가시나 취sem 기종들 제데 대비나니기 레리뮤세션이 대단히 알좀베 뭐래 대단 취sem 기디다니 합다버치 남으면 대다 해마와에 대단 마음이기 대단 남 펜토베세션이라.
So here I am, back to the point from where I started my journey. And what a journey it's been. Along the way we have discovered stories of legend, computer literacy, reviving arts, ecotourism and organic farming that are making the villages of My Gakidh Village an attractive place to live in. We have met many villagers who have spoken in appreciative tones of the palpable changes that they see in their lives and the lives of those around them. Now, these are stories that I believe the rest of the nation, particularly decision makers in government, as well as rural dwellers elsewhere, need to hear. Most of all, these are stories that offer hope to communities all across Bhutan that are today seeing their homes and their fields abandoned by their children. Now, why am I reminded of the story of the prodigal son? Perhaps it's because I am finally home. This is my home. This is my Gakidh Village.